Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. Hello, it's Emmy. Welcome back. Today's video is sponsored by Audible, where you can find audiobooks, original audio series, and comedy. If you head over to audible.com/emmymade in Japan, or you can text emmymade in Japan to 500 and you can receive a 30-day free trial along with a book of your choice. Thanks, Audible, for sponsoring my video and allowing me to make better videos for you guys. So today we're continuing with a hard time story where I'm exploring recipes and food that was created during times of food scarcity. So if you missed my last video where I cooked a steak made out of grapefruit peel, I'll put the link up there and down below. So in that video, many of you commented about Clara and her channel, Great Depression Cooking, which I hadn't visited in a long time. So thank you so much for reminding me about Clara. And I went and I binge watched a lot of her recipes where she shares stories of her family and herself growing up during the Great Depression, what her family and her mother had to do to provide food for everyone during that time where there wasn't any food. So one of those recipes that she included was dandelion salad. So sadly, Clara has since passed, but this video is dedicated to her and her resilience and resourcefulness. So let's go outside and pick some dandelions. Here we are, and it's the second week of May, and I'm in my backyard, so I know that these dandelions are going to be pesticide free because we do not spray the dandelions. As you can see, they're everywhere. This is not the peak season for dandelions. You can see that many of them have gone to seed, which is fine with us because we don't spray for them because I have bees. There is my recent split and there is my original hive. And dandelions are an important source for bees for both pollen and nectar. It's an early source, and the bees depend on it. It's also worth noting that dandelions were actually considered an important green. They were planted instead of like planting grass. It's just until recent times that they've been labeled the scourge of, the suburban lawn, which isn't really true. They're lovely. They're a beautiful flower. They're actually related to sunflowers and they're lovely. Look at those beautiful dandelions. Clara says just use a knife, go around the base of the dandelion and pull them up. Just cut them out. I'm going to cut as much of the dirt off here as possible. Clean them up outside. Put them in my bowl. So now I'm back, and here are the dandelions, freshly picked. I also started picking some dandelion heads. I'm gonna see how many I can collect, and hopefully I'll have enough to make some wine. So I'm going to wash them in some water. Clara washes them at least 3 times in cold water. So what she did in her video is she just pulled off these dead leaves here, and she trimmed off the ends. And all of the dandelion is completely edible, including the stalks and the flowers. But for the salad, we're just looking for the greens. So I've had dandelion greens before, but I saute them with a little bit of olive oil and garlic. This will be the first time I've had them raw. So Clara actually shares a very sweet story of when she would come back from working her job at the Hostess bakery plant, and she would carry a knife with her so she could pick dandelions on her way home and bring them home to her mother. It's so sweet. All right, so we're gonna pick out as much grass and, all this other mossy nonsense. I would normally be doing this in a sink, but since I'm doing it on camera, I'm just using large bowls of water. So while I'm washing my greens, let me tell you a little bit about Audible. So at Audible, you can find audiobooks, original audio stories, comedy, news, and much, much more. So right now I'm currently listening to A Square Meal written by Jane Zingelman and Andrew Coe. So basically it puts the Great Depression into a historical context, providing anecdotal stories of people who actually were going through the Great Depression and policy matters of how the US was trying to ensure people had enough nutrition. Very interesting book. And what I love about audiobooks is that I can listen to them whenever I want. While I'm cooking dinner, while I'm in the car, I can just pause and restart whenever I want, and then I can get something else done at the same time. So if you're interested in getting a 30-day free trial of Audible and a book of your choice, head over to audible.com/emmymade in Japan or text emmymade in Japan at 500. All right, big thanks Audible for supporting my channel. All right, so here are my dandelion greens. I'm gonna dry them off onto this dishcloth here, and I'm gonna dry most of the water off in a flour sack towel, and you spin it. But you do it outside because now I have water all over my kitchen. That works amazingly. Look, the flour sack towel is all wet on the bottom. All right, look, And it gets them pretty dry. Wow. Lovely, right? Alrighty, next I have a lemon, and Clara recommends to roll them very smartly so you can get all the juice out. Cut the lemon in half. Whoop, I guess my knife was dirty. It's okay, that's organic. I'm just gonna use my fingers to strain out any seeds. So that's probably about a tablespoon of lemon juice. And now I'm just gonna add olive oil. And that's probably about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And just add a bit of salt and pepper. So I'm gonna whisk this up a little bit. Now I'm gonna add my greens. What I found very charming is Clara says just to use your hands to mix the salad. She's like, they're the best. So my hands are nice and clean. I'm just gonna toss my salad. Oh, it smells so good. Now I'm gonna use some tongs. Just wash my hands. All right, let's give my beautiful salad a taste. It looks gorgeous. To Clara, itadakimasu. Mm-hmm. And that's great. Fresh, crisp, green, nice bitterness. Kind of reminds me of arugula a bit. It's not as peppery as arugula, but it definitely has a bitterness to it. I think the earlier you pick the dandelions, the less bitter they'll be. So this is later in the season, so these do definitely have some bitterness to them, but I actually quite like that. It reminds me of the fact that I'm eating dandelions. And I think bitter foods are something that we don't taste a lot of these days. Definitely a lot of salt, definitely a lot of sugar, but not enough bitterness, I think. It's really good for you, I think, as a tonic herb, and just good for exercising your taste buds, right? Delish. So there you have it, Clara's dandelion salad. So the next time you see a patch of dandelions, consider making it yourself. Just make sure the area has not been sprayed, it's not in a highly trafficked area, you don't want lots of pet traffic or exhaust traffic or anything that will potentially pollute your food. So head over to audible.com/emmymade in Japan or text emmymade in Japan to 500-500 to receive a free 30-day trial and a book of your choice. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you guys learned something. If there's a recipe that you'd like me to try, be sure to leave me a comment down below. Follow me on social media, and I shall see you in my next video. Toodaloo, take care, bye!
Dandelions, dandelions, dandelions.